So first off, I want to thank everybody that participated in the last video. I saw a lot of comments and I seen that you guys enjoyed the material. So here we are with a part 2 of the famous Korg Triton presets used in hip hop. Therefore, I do want to give a message to you guys. Leave a comment below and let me know of any other genres or any other people that used the Korg Triton in the late 90s and early 2000s. In this episode in particular, I'm covering Storch because a lot of people asked me to do that, as well as Timbaland. And I really wanted to do a separate episode for Timbaland altogether because he had different techniques that he used with the Korg Triton Extreme, with the ASR10, and it is necessary that I do a separate episode, but I'll do some in here, as well as Dr. Dre, and even DJ Toomp and David Banner, because they all use the Korg Triton. So therefore, this is what we're gonna talk about in this video. Again, leave a comment below and give me some suggestions. I definitely wanna hear from you guys. Let's get started.
Traptendo.
So I'm starting the episode off by answering questions that were asked in the comment section, and that was the drums. Like, they wanted to know where the signature Neptune drum comes from, and it also comes from the Korg Triton, because the Korg Triton is the best. So I'm gonna go into the search bar here. I'm gonna type in techno and go for techno perk. Of course, it's in my favorites, but type in techno perk and then press the key of B. You can also modify this sound if you go with your mod wheel. Go up with the mod wheel, it'll be shorter. Also, these real-time controls, I will go clockwise all the way to the right, then counterclockwise all the way to the left, and that will remove like the reverb and delay. I know that is a little annoying with the Korg Triton, but just make sure that you remove the delay or reverb that way. You got the tighter version and then the original version. Of course, they would sample that into the ASR10 so they can pitch it up and down. That was one of the things that people like to do back in the day. I would hope they do come up with another ASR10 of some type. Behringer, get on it. Next thing, I want to go into the standard kit here. So I'm going to type in standard, and the standard kit is already pulled up, but you know, you got to make sure that you type in standard kit. And now you have the original drums that the Neptunes use as well, some more drums. And I'm gonna go up a couple of octaves. I do have a 25 key keyboard, so it's a little difficult for me at times. So that's a classic sound too, because somebody asked me about the wind chime sound that they used a lot, or that was used a lot in 90s and 2000 hip hop. So that is in here as well. So that is real cool. But I want to go ahead, since I already talked about the Neptune drums, this drum, of course, that's also in Southern Hospitality. So if we're talking about that, and I'm going to go counterclockwise again here. So remove that. I got to talk about the organ impact sound. So I'm going to type in organ impact into the search here, organ impact, and then I'm going to select it. Now you're going to hear a familiar sound from Southern Hospitality, one of my favorites from Ludacris, Throw Them Bows. If you really want to get more of that vibe, mess with the mod wheel again. Of course, there you go. I do have it a little loud, but yeah, you'll find that sound to be very familiar. Of course, they use the flute. I talked about that in the last episode as well. And going to the standard kit if you want more of those percussions, or the ethnic and orchestral drum kit. So the next sound, I want to talk about some other stuff, some unfamiliar stuff from the Neptunes, but from one of my favorite artists, and that is T.I., and that's off of his original album, I'm Serious. There was a song called What's Your Name that was on there, and it used the harmonica sound in there. And that is the particular sound that you have. It's one of my favorite songs for T.I. Really dope time. I'm having flashbacks here of the good old days. But next thing I want to talk about, and I want to talk about a song another one, and I definitely want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What is your favorite T.I. album? If you're a T.I. fan or a T.I. song, I definitely want to hear from you guys, because he worked with some of the best producers in the game, one of which would be David Banner with another one of my favorite songs, and that's Rubber Band Man. So the next one, I'm gonna go and grab an organ, and this organ sound is very, very popular amongst like church music and all kinds of stuff, because people love this in the church. the organ sounds that came from the Triton. So who my is? Rubber band, man, that was my joint. But yeah, most people would think it would be that sound, but from what I experienced and from what I heard, it sounds more like the full drawbar sounds. That sounds like it. Because that way you don't have to play the other part, the higher octaves. Yeah. Boy, I swear, the best sounds on earth. So the next thing I want to talk about, of course, is something I don't really have to look up because it just comes with a plethora of sounds here. I'm going to go into brass. Of course, why would they not use the brass in here? As you can see, I don't even have any brass favorited because they sound... Because all the brass in the Korg Triton is really dope. You know, the only other, I think the only other keyboard that really could compete with the Triton in terms of horns was definitely the Phantom. The Phantom horns, woo, I ain't gonna lie. But the Korg Triton horns are really good too. I ain't gonna front on that as well. So, you know, I'm gonna keep it. And, you know, there's just a lot of stuff that comes from those type of Southern productions back in the day. You know, you have ASAP and all that. Of course, if Toomp rock with the Neptunes back in I'm Serious, you would think that they would have a Triton stream here as well. So, all right, so let's go ahead and talk about some strings here, because I know a lot of people want to talk about Scott Storch, and we got to talk about strings because everybody used strings back in the day, and it was coming from the Korg Triton. Let me get out of favorites real quick, and I'm gonna go over here to Arco strings, because Arco strings are the ones that everybody use. So. Oh, so that's not the right octave. Don't mind me, I do have a 25 key keyboard, so so you can hear the lean back strings as it is. Of course, I'm not nowhere near on the level of Scott Storch as far as playing. Of course, I messed up. But yeah. Anyway, so the strings here, that was embarrassing, by the way. I didn't want to do Scott Storch because I'm not on that level. But anyway, so yeah, strings, you can hear that in pretty much everything in the late 90s, early 2000s, really 1999, 2000s, etc. Korg Triton definitely reigns supreme with the Arco strings. So next thing I want to talk about is Timbaland, and this one is a little more complicated because he used the ASR-10 to sample a lot of this stuff out of the Triton, much like the Neptunes did too as well. And that is this right here. I can't really remember, but I believe it might be the string quartets. And yes, I messed that up as well. So as you can hear, it doesn't sound as dirty as those strings. Now, you got to keep in mind that ASR-10 was a 12-bit sampler, but there is a way you can accomplish that in the plugin version of this. And I have a wish list for Korg, and I hope that they do this in a future update of some sorts. And we're going to select from mono chain either decimator amp or decimator comp. Now, this is something I wish Korg will just go ahead and give us the effects, because that'd be great, because these sounds are great. Here's a quick little nugget here. All you have to do is go into your drum kits and select the first kit in the Korg Triton plugin, and it's called Tricky Kit, and it is over here, and it sounds like this. Everybody knows that sound. If you listen to a lot of Southern hip hop back in the early 2000s, this sound right here, Drumma Boi all day. And love that sound. I just ran into that all of a sudden just playing around, so I definitely wanted to share that. So tell me how you feel about this episode. I really enjoyed doing it. It was really cool. I hope you learned something new, and hopefully I will get some comments and some suggestions. I will even collaborate with some people. I've definitely reached out to a lot of the producers that use the Korg Triton, and if they hit me back, yay. If they don't, whatever. I'll keep this series going. I just really think it's enjoyable. Hopefully Korg will come out with a Triton iOS version of their plugin. I mean, it would be really dope. But other than that, guys, appreciate you.
Trap Tendo.